How's everyone doing? Enough coffee today? Yeah? Not enough coffee? All right, so I want to start with with a couple questions. So the first one I'll say, can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. So quick question by a raise of hands. How many of you have used, we're going to talk about AI and localization, right? Pretty obvious by the title, but how many of you, by raise of hand, have used in the past year AI in localization? Raise your hands if you have. Keep, not a lot of hands, that's fine. And keep your hands up if you use AI, but you look at AI not as a tool, but as a team member. It's kind of like, it's where did that come from? But I think if you look around, no hands up. But this is exactly what we're going to talk about today. We want to shift the perception or the mindset of how we look at things, and how we look at AI as not as a toolbox, but as a team member that is contributing to our work. All right. So that's about the gap. So yeah. So my name is Oz Grakowski. I'm the Chief Business Development Officer for Deepdub.
My name is Sagi Ruven. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Deepdub. Just my personal experience in the last few weeks was also kind of a transformation. The shift in it. We used to treat this AI as a chat. I think most people use it like in a command line kind of experience. And in the last few weeks, completely transformed into a team member, building skills, teaching, training.
Wait, don't reveal everything.
No, just like a heads up from my personal experience before we dive into that stuff. But I urge everyone to go and test it on your own day-to-day work, regardless of the localization story.
You're spilling the beans. You're telling them the end of the story before we started reading the book. All right. So before we start, we're gonna start diving into it. Oh, there it is. That's the first slide, the Agentic Dubbing Coworker. Thank you. That's the clicker, by the way, everyone. So we're going to dive in. So before we dive into the actual topic, Sagi, we're going to do this kind of like an interview. So Sagi, tell us a little bit about Deepdub. What is, before we dive into the Agentic, what does Deepdub do? What
in essence, we're a voice model company. We have a foundational voice model. We started in 2019. We've been very focused on media and entertainment, especially on high-end dubbing. And we've been doing that ever since. Started this journey, bringing AI to production for a couple of years. Thousands of titles out there on multiple platforms. Yeah, that's about it.
And it's important to say that it's operational, right? AI dubbing is
working.
Is real. I think that's what the slide is about. We're already deploying it, have deployed it in massive quantities. All right. We'll keep going. Let's do a reality check.
If AI is already out there, I think, what is still, I don't know if broken is the right word, but what is still missing to get it into become like a real team member in the process? What would you say, Alice?
I think it's a fair question, right? At the end of the day, what happens is that most AI tools, they generate outputs, right? They are, they don't understand the workflow. They're very, very isolated. You use them to translate, use them to generate voices. They may run a QC workflow for you, but at the end of the day, they operate in isolation. And we know that production is not like this. When you have people in different functions, they have to work together, right? At the end of the day, the translator, they have to work with I don't know, whoever creates the voices, with the mixer. Everything has to operate in a single coherent workflow. So that's kind of like the reality check. But this is AI today. But how should we think differently about the dubbing workflow?
So our example is a little bit similar to having, I would say, traditional use of AI is like having an Excel sheet. It's really powerful, but you have to do all the heavy lifting and all the work, right? This is quite similar to using it in a command line or a chat experience. Switching to the agentic workflow is like having a CFO member on your team that would go and do stuff for you. You give it a go, and it will go and perform a set of tasks. And then another agent will come in and check that the tasks are performed correctly and so on. So it will give you a result more than just giving you an output.
How does that, okay, you're talking about really around the bush, but how does that apply for dubbing?
In a dubbing workflow, what we've seen is especially around translation and adaptation. It's like the majority of the work that we've seen is related to adapting, rephrasing again and again. And that's something that was like very manual in the workflow. But that's the first area where we had a huge impact with the agentic workflow.
Okay, so I don't know if that gave you a sense of what it is, because we don't trust ourselves that we actually delivered it properly. We're going to show you a quick demo that hopefully will do a better job or finish that level of understanding. So our friend Maya.
Hi, my name is Maya, and I'm a dubbing director. At Deepdub, our localization process is fully automated and integrated into our customers' workflows. Now, we're bringing Agentic AI into every step of the process. Today, I'll show you one example, how it helps me curate quality in real time. This is the Agentic Localization Assistant. It lives right inside my episode, reads my content, and acts on my instructions the way you always wished someone could. I tell it, find segments that start before the audio, or flag untranslated lines. It reads the entire episode, runs every check, and drops markers exactly where I need to look. And when it needs a judgment call, it asks me. But it's not just QC. I ask it to read the transcript, find the character names, and rename the tracks. Done. And when a check works, I save it. One click, it becomes a validation rule that runs automatically on every export for every project for every client. My standards are now built into the pipeline. This is what agentic AI in localization looks like. Every check automated, every standard enforced at scale.
Thank you, Maya.
So, Oz, what are the actual capabilities? What's going on behind the scenes to make it happen?
Yeah, you got to think of it as a full stack dubbing co-worker, right? At the end of the day, it can handle the transcription, it can handle the ingest, the adaptation, the voice casting, has all of those capabilities, but the key is not the list of capabilities, right? The key is how they are coordinated. At the end of the day, and that's where Agentic comes into place, is instead of looking them as separate tools, again, going back to the concept of isolation, tools that operate in isolation I mentioned before, these capabilities they come together, they become aware of each other, and they work together inside a single workflow in order to achieve the goal. So that's kind of like the concept of the Agentic, and that's what makes that AI, that agentic AI, become more than just a toolbox, right?
Let me try and elaborate about it a little bit more, because what you saw in a glimpse in the demo, we have already implemented this AI assistant a couple of months ago, but until a few weeks ago, it was just a communication in a chat experience, right? So the people that would work on the system would ask, what did they mean? Is this the right word to use in the translation? But it was not like a real play of, okay, go and find colloquial translation or whatever. Okay, so I think this is the switch. It's from asking and getting, asking questions, getting answers, like sending the agent to do stuff for you. So come back with a recommendation and let me decide if I like it or not. And if I like it, I would hit accept, and I would send the agent to go and regenerate stuff or change a speaking style or do something that is mix related and so on.
So, we talked about the capabilities, we talked about the concepts, the skills. Let's talk a little bit about real use cases. How does everything comes together?
So picking up on what I started saying earlier, I think the first process is related to the content ingestion, what we do before we start to translate and adapt. is collecting context throughout the episode and the season level and the character level, and then we can use that to do better casting and so on. Then comes the adaptation process, when now we get much better results in the first pass before the human in the loop comes into the process. The second area is related to the QC process. We started with something very basic of flagging issues. Now it can actually come up with a suggestion of, okay, maybe this is where you need to apply A, B, C, D, and you can even tell the agent to go and fix it for you. I think one of the interesting cases was very simple, but like PG-13, curse words, things like that you typically don't want to miss because, it's not a good situation. And the third part that is starting to pick up is with video understanding, we can now create audio description scripts automatically. So the models are becoming better in video understing. And
it's not just the script; it's the entire audio description.
Dubbing is the next part of it, but the models are now really good in also in video understanding, and it's a good way to add more context.
And is there like a common thread that connects everything together?
Eventually, it's about decisions. I think that would be probably what I would have to say to collect everything together. It's not just about executing a step; it's about making decisions and coming back with suggestions that you can act on. So, a little bit about the AWS story. What's behind it? What's actually making it work?
Yeah, that's exactly where AWS comes into the game from our perspective, because what you see at the end of the day, the front end is that's the experience, but the orchestration layer behind it matters a lot. AWS gives us really the foundation to scale all of this. It's a very robust real-time performance foundation that gives us the ability to scale this up pretty significantly and very fast using Bedrock, Anthropic, help us power the reasoning. So that's the reasoning engine behind it. And
forget about the enterprise stuff eventually, right? We're in this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly where it is. So at the end of the day, we're talking about not our robustness, scalability. We want it to, be relevant for the enterprise, geared toward the enterprise customers. And this is what actually gives us that reliability and scalability. Okay, so again, we're close to maybe one of the last slides. If we take a step back, how does that, all of that actually, why does it even matter? Like, how does that come together?
I think we're all chasing the same thing, right? We were measuring quality, chasing quality, reducing the price overall. This is kind of like a part of the game, right? This is what everybody is chasing on, and getting a faster turnaround time. What we're seeing in this AI dubbing space is that there are different things that you can do that are not like in traditional dubs. You can apply it in a business enablement way, right? You want to do things that have never been done before. You want to like reality shows or things that can be dubbed like very fast.
Daily shows.
Yeah. And I think we're starting to see more and more customers that are picking up like niche and edge cases that were not, let's say, I would say pretty much locked with traditional dubbing, mostly because of cost and time.
Right. One of the things we constantly talk about, we find ourselves a lot in those type of discussions, especially here at NAB and other events, similar events, is about getting the decision makers with the tools to take better decisions in real time, better and more strategic decisions in real time. When you step 5 to 10,000 feet high and look at everything, knowing that you have those capabilities doesn't mean you have to use everything, but just knowing that you have those capabilities allows you to take better decisions in real time. And that is, saves a lot of money, saves a lot of, the risk, allows you to actually sometimes even engage in a project, because otherwise you wouldn't even do it. You wouldn't even engage because of the potential risk associated with it. So, we think this is a major shift in how AI is going to be perceived, not as going back to the beginning, not as another tool, not only as a tool, and you may have actually already seen it in other aspects. We're just bringing it into the dubbing workflow. It's not just another tool. It's not just another checkbox. It's not just another capability. It's a set of capabilities that work together in order to help you achieve a certain goal. And at the end of the day, it's another dubbing director in the dubbing workflow. It's like having a dubbing director sitting next to you. You no longer need to focus on the how. You can focus on the creative aspect. You can focus on the what you're trying to achieve. And we think this is a major, we don't think this is an incremental upgrade. This is really a leap forward in the way of thinking about the workflow.
Yeah, it's all over, I think, even with things that like training people, right? Now you can fine tune a skill and load that into the agent. So we also started using it in training people that are joining the team.
Right. With that, we'd like to thank you. We'll open it for questions. Thank you for spending time with us, and we would love to answer questions if you have them. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi there. Great presentation. My question is, I want to know what sort of tools you have that go beyond purely language. Do you pick up other cultural nuances? And if you want to translate something, how do you communicate body language and those sort of things that go just beyond the language itself?
It's a great question. I was with you until you said the body language. Body language really requires, video understanding, which is something that is not necessarily built into the agentic workflow, other than the audio description that we mentioned. But it's definitely something that's coming up, in the pipeline. I can definitely see that, and beyond, right? But the idea at the end of the day, from a capability perspective, is we want to be able to tie in every capability that we can, every understanding, whether that's video, whether that's from the script, from the audio. And there are so many nuances in the audio that you can think of, right? Beyond just what you hear, right? There's like a visual aspects of the audio as well, right? There's a lot of things, a lot of aspects when you analyze everything. We want to get all of that knowledge to a very capable reasoning engine that can operate on it. We're going back to the decisions, right? I want to be able to, I don't want to focus again on, going back to one of my last statements. I don't want to focus. I want our team to focus on how to do things. I want them to actually get that information, be able to take the decisions on the creative, get suggestions on the creative, right? You can create subtitles in many, many ways. And if you're the editor sitting on the system, it doesn't matter to you how you create the subtitles today, how you create them tomorrow. I can change that. You just know that you need to create subtitles. Create the subtitles. Make sure that they're PG rated, that they compliant with PG, and put markers in places you think they are not, and provide suggestions and apply them. Okay, one prompt, boom. Okay, so stuff like that. This is where, and you can take this forward way more. We're scratching the surface really here.
Yeah, we're to pick up on that. We're already doing some stuff with nuances around audio understanding, especially around the casting process. But it's not yet there in a level of body language understanding. But it's a matter of, I don't know, dog years, and
check with us next NAB.
Yeah, I think it will happen faster. But
we had another question.
Any other questions? Here we go
In the front.
All right, front row.
I want to know, how did you pull the trick in the beginning?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I saw it earlier. You were talking about context building at the front.
Yep.
Can you go into more detail about how you're building that context, how you're verifying the context that's being built is accurate and not problematic?
If Jesse here will tell you how he pulled the Queen of Spades, I will tell you the context building. It's similar magic, though. No,
exactly. No, that was good.
No, but at the end of the day, we do it. We're not going to reveal everything. I can. Sorry.
At what level are you building that context? Is it scene level, episode, seasons?
I can comment on that. It's on character. We start with character level, Okay, before you start the entire process, we're doing a season level, episode level, and then on the segment level.
Yeah, we can take it also on a title. Is that me over there? On a title level. It feels like one of those toys of my son has.
I didn't do it.
No, but we can take it on even on a title like episodic title that has 100 episodes. So all of those levels. Any more questions? I'm not responsible for that echo, but I like it.
Exactly. So he's so good. He even speaks in echo. That's just amazing. Any more questions that we can answer? It's a lot better if I'm up here. I can see people raising their
I
hands.
will say while you're thinking about your question. We have a booth here, W2300L. Feel free to stop by, ask us additional questions if you have them. We have a few demos. We have a live platform there. As well, that we can show you some additional stuff.
And also, they'll both be available over there for pictures and questions and
Signatures.
$dollar bills.
Exactly.
I mean, they told me they would be happy to do that. So, feel free to talk to them afterwards as well. I got to tell you, Oz and I met him at the last convention. He is an amazing guy. So, feel free.
Can I get it in writing also?
Exactly. Yeah. When I left home, I said to my parents, I'm moving away from home. They said, can I get it in writing? So that was the same kind of thing. So thank you very much.
Any more questions?
Well, let's give them a hand. These guys were just great.